Hey friends, welcome to the Enneagram Workshop's Coaching Conversations. My name is Vanessa Fernandez. I'm the founder of the Enneagram Workshop, and today I'm going to be coaching you on anger and how to process it and how to confront some messaging that you may have around anger that is not helpful. So as a review, a lot of the work that we do with the Enneagram is the work of slowing down and increasing awareness around our thoughts, feelings, and actions so that we can evaluate whether those thoughts, feelings, and actions are rooted in truth or are rooted in untruths that maybe we just picked up through life, through our parents, our teachers, society around us. So oftentimes the cycles and the habits and the pattern behavior that is not serving us, that we want to change so desperately, but we can't seem to figure out how to do it, oftentimes that behavior is rooted in unconscious beliefs. And so a lot of Enneagram work is slowing down to make space between a trigger and a reaction so that we can evaluate if the reaction that we always go to every time, habitually, like clockwork, if that reaction is the reaction we want to have, is the reaction that will kind of keep us stuck or allow us to get free and experience freedom. And freedom is the goal of doing all this Enneagram work. We want to be free to choose intention rather than act out of instinct. So when we think about anger, most often we have a negative reaction to anger. You just have to look at how parents view anger in their kids to see that we just want to squelch it, squash it, put it away, hide it, get it out of here. Anger is not something that oftentimes we are comfortable with. And for good reason. Anger is an outward emotion, and oftentimes anger puts off actions that are harmful. So let's make a distinction though between anger and aggression. You can feel angry without acting on aggression. So a lot of times when we are hurt by people who are angry, we're hurt by their aggression, we're hurt by their words, we're hurt by their maybe even physical actions, and we think that the two are the same thing. And so we think that anger is dangerous. We think that anger is always harmful. And so, of course, anything that's dangerous or harmful, let's get that out of here. We don't want to deal with that. The problem is they are two separate things. So first we're going to detach aggression from anger. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to look at anger itself and some of the instincts that different types may have toward anger. I'll try to cover this somewhat quickly. So for type 1s, if anger is not good, because anger and aggression, we've got them all mixed up together. If anger is not good, then I may not be angry. I will not be angry, and I don't allow myself to be angry. The problem is when we feel anger and we don't express it in some way physically, we don't process it physically, that anger gets trapped. The emotion, we can't stop the emotion of anger. It is a base human emotion. It is a normal human emotion. It is an okay human emotion to have. But when we feel it and we don't believe that we can express it in any way, then all that does is it pushes it down and it keeps it stored in our bodies. The reason why that's problematic is because it's got to go somewhere, and we can only keep it contained for so long. And so oftentimes ones may feel that the anger will all of a sudden pop out its head in a very intense way, or that anger and resentment will start going inward toward oneself. They can start doing things. I mean, we're talking really down low on the health meter here, but when one is very unhealthy, they can start doing things like self-harm. They can start doing things like self-loathing. And so what's helpful to remember with 1s and every number is we have to process, feel, express, expand the anger out of our bodies. We cannot hold it in. It will become dangerous. Just like aggression is dangerous, a dangerous form of anger, suppression is a dangerous form of anger as well. We don't often recognize or see it as that, but it is. And so if we want to process anger in a healthy way, then we want to maybe not have it be expressed as aggressive behavior, but we also don't want to have it expressed as being suppressed and pulled inward. So some ways that we can process anger in a way that is healthy, that is not harmful for others, but also does not suppress it and keep it in our bodies, is by moving our bodies. So something as simple as jumping up and down, screaming, punching the air, shadow boxing, doing a strenuous workout, even stretching, crying. Crying is a beautiful thing that the body does that is necessary and natural. It actually expels chemicals that when we have anger and we release adrenaline into our bodies, all of that adrenaline causes stress on our organs, causes stress on our blood pressure. We see blood pressure rise when we're angry, right? That's an over amount of adrenaline that is not being neutralized by the body. So we need to be able to cry, scream, punch, run, do burpees. We can even stretch. So stretching the muscles and breathing into them also allows for a release of what we have previously kind of held in. The stretching of the muscle fibers even releases chemicals that allows us to breathe and exhale our anger. So doing any of these types of body exercises with the intention, you can even think of the person you're angry at. You can think of the situation you're angry at. It has to be released and expelled, and we can do it in a way that doesn't cause harm to others. I think oftentimes we only see anger being expressed as aggression towards an individual, and that is harmful. And there are wounds that causes. And if you have been wounded by explosive anger, you would especially need to take a look at how you may have wanted to go the other way so far that now all of that anger is destroying your own body. So even autoimmune diseases, there's a lot of diseases that we can look at that have links to a lack of somatic release, a lack of body releasing emotions. When we feel like we need to hold them in, straight face, keep it together, button it up, keep your lips closed, all of that has harmful effects on the body. And unfortunately, when we get to a certain point, we can't hold it in anymore, and it ends up doing the damage we didn't want it to do in the first place. So try to get that anger out. Try to process that anger. And for ones, I would encourage you to remind yourselves that anger felt is not morally wrong. There is nothing morally wrong with you if you feel anger. Now, remember, anger expressed as aggression to harm others, you can make an argument for some moral wrongness there. But simply feeling that anger rising in you, that's not morally wrong. There's nothing you can do to ever stop feeling that because it's a human emotion. So when you feel that, sit with yourself, allow that feeling, embrace it, get curious as to why it's coming up, and then let that anger out. Do it, and you can do it in a variety of ways, but let that anger out. Processing it is important for your own health, for the health of those around you, and in order to be able to live with yourself in love and understanding. All right, tomorrow I will cover how anger in type 2s need to process their anger. But for today, I hope this was helpful for all of you ones and how to think through and process your anger.